Captain Marcus Webb had seen plenty of strange things in his 15 years exploring the outer sectors. But nothing quite prepared him for the small, purple creature that came barreling into his camp at sunset. The thing was barely knee-high, with 4 stubby legs and 2 oversized eyes that shimmered like liquid gold. It skidded to a halt in front of him, kicking up red dust from the canyon floor, and immediately began making a series of desperate chirping sounds. Marcus set down his ration pack and activated his translation module. The device hummed for a moment, processing the alien's vocalizations. "Human, please. My mom's trapped in a trap." The words came through clear and panicked. Marcus blinked. In all his years of first contact protocols and diplomatic training, he'd never encountered a situation quite like this. The little alien was trembling, its golden eyes fixed on him with an intensity that transcended species barriers. "Slow down," Marcus said, keeping his voice calm. "Where is your mother?" The creature bounced on its legs, gesturing frantically with 2 small appendages toward the canyon's eastern ridge. The canyon. The deep part. She went to find water crystals, and the ground opened up. "Please, human. Everyone says humans are strong. Everyone says humans never give up." That was true enough. Humanity had earned quite a reputation in the galactic community over the past century. Where other species saw impossible obstacles, humans saw interesting challenges. What others called suicide missions, humans called difficult but doable. It was simultaneously their greatest strength and most bewildering. Characteristic to the rest of the galaxy. Marcus grabbed his emergency kit and climbing gear. "Show me." The little alien took off like a shot, and Marcus had to jog to keep up. Its small size belied its speed, and it navigated the rocky terrain with practiced ease. Marcus followed, his augmented legs handling the rough ground without difficulty. They ran for nearly 20 minutes before the creature stopped at the edge of a deep crevasse. Marcus approached carefully, peering into the darkness below. His helmet's scanning system activated automatically, painting the scene in thermal and structural overlays. 40 meters down, wedged between 2 rock faces, was a larger version of the small alien beside him. The mother was trapped in what appeared to be a natural pit trap, the kind that formed when underground water erosion created hidden voids beneath thin surface layers. "Mom," the little one called down. "I brought help. I brought a human." A weak chirp echoed up from below. Marcus's translator picked it up. "Kip, you shouldn't have bothered anyone. It's too dangerous." "It's no bother," Marcus called down, already assessing the situation. The walls were smooth, worn by ancient water flow. The gap was too narrow for conventional rescue equipment, and the rock looked unstable. One wrong move and the whole thing could collapse. Any sensible species would call this a job for specialized rescue teams with proper equipment, extensive planning, and multiple safety redundancies. That would take days to arrange, and from the thermal readings, Marcus could see the trapped alien was already suffering from exposure. But Marcus wasn't just any species. He was human. "I'm going down," he announced, shrugging off his pack and pulling out a length of smart cable. The material was a human invention, naturally. It could support tons of weight while remaining flexible enough to thread through spaces barely wider than a finger. "Human, no." The mother called up. "The rocks are unstable. You'll be trapped too." Marcus was already anchoring the cable to a sturdy rock formation. "Ma'am, with respect, I've pulled people out of worse. Last year, I helped evacuate a station that was falling into a gas giant. This is actually a pretty standard Tuesday for me." It wasn't really standard, but the little alien Kip needed reassurance. The kid was shaking so hard, Marcus worried he might vibrate himself right off the edge. "Stay here," Marcus told Kip firmly. "If anything goes wrong, run back to my camp." My ship will automatically call for help. Kip's eyes somehow got even bigger. You're really going down there? Absolutely. Marcus tested the cable one more time, then backed toward the edge. Your mom needs help, and I'm here. That's all the reason I need. He rappelled into the darkness. The descent was tricky. The crevasse narrowed in places, forcing Marcus to squeeze through gaps that scraped his suit's armor plating. His helmet light cut through the gloom, revealing the mother alien huddled on a small ledge, her lower legs caught between two rock faces. Hello there, Marcus said, touching down beside her. I'm Marcus. Let's get you out of here. Up close, he could see she was in bad shape. One leg was clearly broken, and she was shivering from the cold. The temperature down here was at least 20 degrees lower than the surface. This is foolish, she said weakly. You should save yourself. Not how humans work, I'm afraid. Marcus examined the rock pinning her legs. We have this annoying habit of helping people even when it's inconvenient. Genetic defect, probably. Despite her pain, the alien made a sound his translator interpreted as a laugh. I've heard stories about your species. I thought they were exaggerations. They probably are. Marcus pulled out a small plasma cutter from his belt. But here's the thing about human stories. Even when they're exaggerated, there's usually a kernel of truth. And that kernel is usually just stubborn enough to be real. He began carefully cutting away the rock. The plasma cutter was another human tool that made other species nervous. Too powerful, they said. Too dangerous to carry routinely. But right now, it was exactly what he needed. The rock groaned as he worked. Dust and small stones began to fall from above. It's destabilizing, the mother alien said, fear creeping into her voice. I know. Marcus worked faster, his hands steady despite the danger. But we're almost there. What's your name, by the way? Myra. Nice to meet you, Myra. Your kid's pretty brave, running all the way to find help. He's too brave sometimes. Myra's voice was fond, despite the situation. Always trying to do big things. Sounds familiar. Marcus cut through the last section of rock. All right, you're free. This is going to hurt, but I need to get you into this harness. He worked quickly, securing Myra in an emergency sling. She winced, but didn't cry out. Tough species, Marcus noted with approval. A deep rumble echoed through the crevasse. We need to go, Marcus said calmly, though his heart rate spiked. Right now. He clipped Myra's sling to his own harness and activated the smart cable's retrieval function. The cable began retracting, pulling them both upward. The walls began to crack. Faster would be good, Marcus muttered, watching fracture lines spread through the rock face. He activated his suit's emergency thrusters, small jets designed for zero-gravity maneuvering. They weren't meant for this kind of use, but humans had a tendency to use tools in ways their manufacturers never intended. They shot upward like a cork from a bottle. Rock rained down behind them. The entire section of the crevasse was collapsing, centuries of erosion finally claiming its prize. Marcus's thrusters sputtered, fuel depleting rapidly. But they were close now. 10 meters. 5. Kip's face appeared over the edge. Eyes wide with terror and hope. Marcus grabbed the rim with one hand, hauling himself and Myra up and over. They tumbled onto solid ground just as the crevasse behind them gave way completely, opening into a gaping maw that would have swallowed them whole. For a moment, everyone just lay there, breathing hard. Then Kip launched himself at his mother, chirping frantically. Myra wrapped her appendages around him, making soothing sounds despite her obvious pain. Marcus sat up slowly, checking his suit's diagnostics. Several warning lights blinked angrily at him, but nothing critical. He'd need repairs, but that was a problem for later. Thank you, Myra said, looking at him over Kip's head. You risked your life for strangers. I don't understand why. Marcus shrugged. That's the thing about humans. We don't always need to understand why. Sometimes you just see someone who needs help, and you help them. It's not complicated, but it's dangerous. Sure, Marcus stood, offering Mira a hand up. She took it carefully, balancing on her good legs. But most worthwhile things are. Come on, my camp's not far. I've got medical supplies, and my ship can get us to a proper hospital. As they made their slow way back across the canyon, Kip bouncing alongside them, Marcus found himself thinking about what Myra had said. Other species found humanity's helpfulness baffling, even reckless. They calculated risk versus reward, cost versus benefit. But humans have learned long ago that some things couldn't be calculated. Sometimes you helped people because they needed help. Sometimes you took risks because the alternative was worse. Sometimes you did the difficult thing because it was the right thing, it wasn't logical. It wasn't always smart. But it was human, and in a galaxy full of species that had optimized themselves for efficiency and survival. Sometimes what you really needed was someone too stubborn to know when something was impossible. Back at camp, Marcus treated Myra's injuries while Kip watched with rapt attention. The little alien peppered him with questions about Earth and humans, and whether all humans were as crazy as him. Pretty much, Marcus admitted. We've got a saying back home. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. What does that mean? Kip asked. Marcus smiled. It means when things get really hard, that's when humans start trying even harder. We're not the strongest species, or the smartest, or the fastest. But we might be the most stub,